welcome to the virtual outing to the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens here in Pasadena, California. Enjoy the beauties of nature that we'll see today. Henry Harrington purchased the San Marino Ranch, which was a working ranch in 1903, which we are going to tour today. It was located 12 miles from downtown LA. It consisted of 600 acres. And you would see citrus groves, nut and fruit orchards, alfalfa crops, and small herds of cow and poultry. Today, it covers 207 acres, and the public has access to 130. There are 16 themed gardens: the Shakespearean Garden, Australian Garden, Californian Garden, Camellia Garden, the Children's Garden, Chinese and Japanese gardens, the Conservatory, Desert, and there's an herb garden, a jungle garden, a garden of lily ponds, a rose garden, a palm garden, ranch, and a subtropical garden. And we'll see most of those themed gardens today. You can also find 27,000 living plant taxa, which is the different types of plants, and includes 16,000 species. Coming up is a long lawn lined with Shakespearean era statues. This area is called the North Vista Camellias Garden and Shakespearean Garden. You'll notice that there's plaques. The plaques that follow the statue is the name of the statue. This next tree is very interesting. The name definitely fits the look of this tree because of the bark on the trunks. Doesn't it look like sponge almost? Next, we're entering the Huntington Art Museum, which was the home of the Huntingtons. Here you'll see depictions of rooms such as a library and dining room, as well as beautiful art pieces. Just a little bit about the Huntingtons. Henry E. was an exceptional businessman who built a financial empire in Southern California. He was also a man of vision, with a special interest in rare books, art, and gardens. During his lifetime, he amassed the core of one of the finest research libraries of the world, assembled a spectacular art collection, and established an array of botanical gardens with plants from a geographical range spanning the globe. The Huntington's collections have continued to grow since Henry Huntington's time, serving up a feast for the senses and intellect, linked by a devotion to research, education, and beauty. And this came from the guide that I received on our tour. More from the guide and a little bit more about the Huntingtons. Henry Edwards Huntington was born in 1850 in Wononta, New York. In 1872, he went to work for his uncle, Collis P. Huntington, one of the owners of the Central Pacific Railroad. This work led him west to California. In 1903, he purchased the San Marino Ranch and began transforming it into what it is now today, the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens. Henry married Arabella Duval Huntington in 1913, the widow of his uncle Collis. She was Henry's age and shared his interest in collecting. As one of the most important art collectors of her generation, she was highly influential in the development of the Huntington European art collection. Henry E. Harrington died in 1927. Arabella preceded him by 3 years. Both are buried in the mausoleum on the property. The museum focuses on European art from the 15th to the early 20th century and American art from the late 17th to the 20th century. I think this was my favorite part of the house. You exit the museum into this outside living space overlooking the palm gardens. Look at all these variety of colored flowered roses. They smell so good. So this is the rose garden with so many variations of roses. What color is your favorite, guys? Oh, I think I found one of my favorite is this.
Love song.
It's called Love Song. So you couldn't see this part of the rose garden from where we began, but it just goes on and on and on with 1,600 varieties of roses. Do you think you can guess these spices from the following clues? Clue 1. Seeds from these red berries are roasted and ground up to make a hot drink. The answer was coffee. Coffee beans are seeds from inside coffee berries. Over half of the adults in the U.S. drink at least 1 cup of coffee a day. Clue 2. The seeds from these large pods are made into a very popular sweet. Their answer was cocoa. When mature, each cocoa pod contains 20 to 15 seeds. They are dried, roasted, and turned into cocoa powder and cocoa butter for making chocolate. Clue 3. These orchard seed pods flavor cookies, cakes, and ice cream. Did you guess vanilla? Vanilla beans are the seed pods of the vanilla orchid. Each flower is hand-pollinated by the farmers to make the vanilla we use in our food. Clue: this fragrant bark is stripped off of trees and curls into sticks as it dries. Did you guess cinnamon? Cinnamon bark has been used for incense and food for thousands of years. Ancient Egyptians used cinnamon to prepare mummies. Here we're entering the children's garden. This was a fun garden. There were mazes and tunnels and water play areas for the kids. So fun for little ones. Definitely a garden that is very interactive and keeps kids entertained. This area was kind of a surprise to us when we were walking through. This is actually the herb garden. We didn't know until we turned the corner right here and we noticed all the vegetables that were being grown. And there were lots of different herbs, mint, and even a fragrance plant that if you rubbed it, it smelled like perfume.
Oh, squirrel, yeah.
Entering the Chinese garden. This was a beautiful area of so many contrasting colors and textures and sounds from the water.
Oh.
One of my favorite things about the Chinese garden was the designs in the pathways. They were so gorgeous. We exit the Chinese garden and enter the Japanese garden area. Here we have the Bonsai Garden. So various bonsai trees. In the Japanese section of this area. Aren't they gorgeous? This one is called the Japanese Black Pine. This definitely looks like an olive, and it is an olive. Cypress. Oh, look at this beautiful Chinese elm.
Look at the forest, Linda. Oh, isn't that charming?
Oh, this one's so pretty. This one's called the Silver Berry. So many beautiful bonsai trees in this area of the Bonsai Garden. Walking paths of bamboo. They provide so much shade. It's kind of unbelievable how much shade they provide when they are gathered together like this. As we finish up our tour, we are right back at the celebration lawn. I hope you enjoyed this tour and walkthrough of the Huntington Botanical Gardens, Art Museum, and Library.